Morning, beautiful people. It is Saturday, September 8th, 7th here. It's a great day for some college football. I'm joined, of course, Hunt McCoe, G-Russ. Chub is here this week. We will get his picks. He was on the recap show. It's not posted yet, but it will probably be posted today, hopefully. And James is live from Arizona for the Arizona-Mississippi State game. It is hot down there. I'm sure we'll get some insight on that. James, you got anything about that?
Yeah, my dad and I went out down their big road. The Lyft driver said that this is where all the college people go at night. So my dad, being 45, was like, let's go down there. And it is like walking into an oven. You're not sweating like the humidity in the South. You're just hot all over. It's wonderful.
And, of course, we are joined by our guest picker this week, Maryville basketball player Dylan Thompson. Welcome to the show, Dylan.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to make some good picks with y'all.
Let's go. Week 2, it's loaded. Let's pull up the leaderboard, though. It's going to look a little funky, but geez Louise. G-Russ came out on top last week, 7-4. James 6-5. Me 4-7. That's rough. And then Chub 0-0. Didn't make any picks last week, but of course we're going to base it off of winning percentage and not, actual record-wise. Dylan could beat Price. I think Price went 5-7. Yeah, 5-7 maybe.
5-6.
5-6. I can't do basic math. Well, let's get into the week 1 slate. Let's go to our FCS matchup of the week, and that is UT Martin versus SEMO. I still do not know how this college is pronounced. It's been like that all week. James, you can go first here, though.
We'll start. It's pronounced Southeastern Missouri State. Pretty simple. The Mo stands for Missouri. Couldn't really find much, just like last week's FCS game. But I saw Paxton DeLaurent. That was his he's played 2 games since a season-ending shoulder injury from last season. So this is actually his first time he's going to be able to play against their rival, UT Martin. UT Martin might have lost to Kansas State last week pretty bad, but they did win the turnover battle, getting a fumble and an interception. And so if they can force a Power 5 team to do that, then I could only imagine what they can do against an FCS team like SEMO. It's really tough to call. The series is pretty even. It's 20-19 UT Martin. But I'll give the nod to Kincaid Dent, former Jackson Academy Raider. That's my high school. I'll say that he wins this, and they win the turnover battle, and they'll pick up a good win and take the series 21-19.
I'm also going to go with UT Martin. I think that they're obviously favored in this game. Their head coach is his son is former 5-star at Alabama, Ty Simpson. So I think that he's pretty good at developing quarterbacks and offense. So I'll go with UT Martin.
I'm also going to go with UT Martin. I mean, really not much to say. It's an FCS game. Just like Grant said, he knows how to develop quarterbacks and can develop players. So I have full confidence in the UT Martin offense.
I know absolutely nothing of these two teams, so I'm going to pick this game based on the logo, and I think UT Martin has a better logo, so I'm going to go with them.
There we go. We like that out of our guest pickers every single week, always bringing some flavor to the show. I'm going to go UT Martin as well. Not much to say about it. There wasn't many FCS games this week, and this one looked enticing, and I don't really know how enticing it is. Of course, the odds, UT Martin -3. So, I mean, it's probably going to be a close game from what I can tell, but I am going to go UT Martin just because they are in the good old state of Tennessee. So, yeah, there you go. Next matchup is probably the best group of 4 game today, and that's Troy and Memphis. James, who you got in this one?
Should be a relatively easy game for the Memphis Tigers. Troy lost last week to Nevada at home, and now they're having to go on the road against Memphis, who I must say have wonderful uniforms. I love their color of blue, plus the little bit of black that they put in there. They'll play FSU next week, which is a huge game, especially if they want to make that push for the playoffs. And I think Seth Hennigan, the quarterback for Memphis, he threw for 300-plus yards last week, as it says right there. And they also have a strong defense, forcing 3 turnovers and getting 3 sacks. So I expect them to do the same, if not better, against Troy. And, hopefully they can make that push like we've seen many of these smaller group of 5 teams to see who gets that last playoff spot.
I'm agree with James here. Troy is better than how they looked against Nevada, I think. But Memphis, I think, is just going to overpower them. Their quarterback obviously had 300 plus yards, and they held Southern Utah to 3 yards per pass. I think that's a big deal. If they get behind late, I don't think they'll be able to catch back up.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with the first two picks. Memphis is really good. Their secondary is really good, and I don't think Troy has the offensive firepower to keep up. And kind of like James said, Troy looked really bad at home. I don't think they're as bad as they played, but against Nevada in your home stadium, you got to be better than that. So I'm gonna pick Memphis.
I feel like Seth Heniken he's a dark horse for the Heisman potentially. He's very underrated, and if Memphis, like how they were back a couple years back, just producing high points after high points, I feel like Seth Heniken could put up big numbers like they did with that. I don't remember that old quarterback, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Memphis because of quarterback play.
Paxton Lynch.
Paxton Lynch. There you go. Beat Mississippi State, I'm pretty sure. Okay, well, anyway, do the best group of 4 teams, like I said. I think this is a trap game for Memphis early. I think Memphis gets the win just because they have the more talent on the roster. Yes, Troy looked bad, but Troy's a very good football team. Some people were saying they couldn't make the playoff. Of course, the loss to Nevada probably knocks them out of that contention pretty early. I mean, it's still an early season. This is a trap game for Memphis, though. It's at home. You're looking at FSU, and you're thinking, okay, I can get a big win for my resume next week. What's this game going to do for me? I think you got to focus on this game if you really want to win this game for Memphis. And I think they will. I think Memphis will pull it out. It's at Memphis, too, which makes me think home team's going to win. Home field advantage is such a big thing in college football, and it gets loud down there at I forget, Simmons Bank Stadium. So what is our next matchup? It is Cal versus Auburn. I picked this game over Mississippi State and Arizona State. Sorry, James. Mississippi State will be on there probably 2 weeks from now when they play, I think, Florida. There you go. Yeah, they'll be on there for sure. Stamped it. James, who you got in this game?
They're playing at Jordan-Hare, which I think alone will be brutal for the Golden Bears. Plus, Cal only beat UC Davis, an FCS team, last week by 18, and they let them throw for 220 yards. They did get 3 turnovers, which is good, but this will be a rude awakening, especially since Auburn's 2 QBs threw for a combined 451 yards, which is the second most in college football right now. Their offense was red hot. They only kicked for 1 field goal and then scored 10 touchdowns, and they played a team who's of similar level of UC Davis and Alabama A&M. Auburn will obliterate that 11.5-point spread, and Hugh Freeze will pick up a good win before he goes into conference play in 2 weeks against Arkansas.
Well, I agree with James. I think that Auburn's going to blow them out. I think that Payne Thorne looked great. They have the talent at wide receiver. And the biggest thing is Cal was 2 of 13 on third down against UC Davis against the SEC defense. That's not going to hold up, so I'll go with Auburn.
Yeah, I'm going to go Auburn as well. They are getting to the point where they're going to have to start looking really sharp. They looked good last week, but playing Cal this week and then I believe New Mexico State, after that, they have an absolute gauntlet. I mean, Arkansas, I believe it's Oklahoma, Missouri, and then Georgia. So they're going to have to really, really pick it up, and I think this is the game to do it. I'm going to go Auburn.
If Auburn's receivers consistently make explosive plays, I feel like Auburn can have a pretty successful season this year. And against Cal's defense, I think they'll have success. And at Jordan-Hare Stadium, too. So I'm going to go with Auburn, too.
Yeah, I think I picked Auburn to be the surprise team of the SEC this year. Besides Mississippi State, I also picked them to be a surprise team this year. You're welcome, James. But I said Auburn was going to go 9-3 this year. And I think they honestly can. This roster's pretty deep. A lot of people don't give it enough credit. I think that they're going to blow out Cal just because it's at Jordan-Hare. I think the fans are ready. Payne Thorne played great last week. And I think the Cal defense is not going to be able to, compete with them. I think Auburn's going to have their way today. So I'm going to take Auburn right here. Baylor versus Utah. This could be an interesting one here. Baylor looked good week 1. Utah didn't really play anybody week 1. So could be interesting here. Also, first Big 12 matchup for Utah. James, who you got here?
I would argue Baylor looked atrocious last week. Sure, they absolutely dominated Tartland State, whoever that is. But Finn did not look good. He couldn't throw for 200 yards. He had 2 interceptions. I mean, yeah, he also got a rushing touchdown, but he's played Toledo, and he's a senior this year, and now he's going to go into this Utah environment that is going to be brutal, especially this being their first Big 12 game. I mean, Utah's defense was elite last week. They only allowed 79 rushing yards and 71 passing yards, and they got 5 sacks. That is going to be key. They're going to put pressure on Finn. Finn's going to be clumsy with the ball. He's going to make stupid mistakes. And when you have Cam Rising at quarterback, I feel pretty confident. The stats speak for themselves. I think Utah will easily beat Baylor. I think they'll cover this spread. And I think Utah will start off, their Big 12 legacy off well. I mean, they're going to get this win with ease.
I agree with James. I think that Utah is miles better than Baylor. Baylor head coach is on the hot seat. Cam Rising has been in Utah for what it feels like forever. I think Utah is one of the best developing programs in the country. They recruit decent, but they really do get their players up. They develop them really well. So for that, I'll go with Utah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Utah as well. This is a tough matchup for Baylor, just because not only because of the environment, but the elevation and the physicality that Utah plays with. I don't think they're going to be ready for it. So I'm going to go Utah.
If I'm a Utah fan or player, I find this spread very disrespectful. I feel like Utah is going to win big, maybe even close to 30 points. Baylor has no chance in this game. I'm going Utah.
Yeah, I'm going to go Utah as well. I think Baylor's still trying to find their footing this season. Dave Arnada still on the hot seat. So, I mean, a lot on the line here for Baylor this year. But Utah looked good. It's in Utah. Elevation plays a key role in this game. Cam Rising going to have a great season, so I'll go Utah there. Iowa State versus Iowa rivalry game week 2. Cade McNamara, quarterback. Rocco. Wow, what a name by that guy. I didn't even know that's his name. Wow. Rocco Beck.
Rocco.
James.
All right. I mean, I didn't do much research on this game just because of how boring it's going to be. Iowa State has only won twice since 2014. It's going to be low scoring. It's going to be, very physical. The defenses will come out hot, but let's be honest, it's going to be a punt fest. The last 3 games have ended 20-13, 10-7, and then 27-17. I expect the same. I think Iowa will win just purely because they're at home. They have the more experienced quarterback in Cade McNamara, and they're just a little more physical. Their defense is just a tier above Iowa State, but really just a boring game.
Yeah, I agree. I expect Iowa to do what it feels like they've always done against Iowa State. Kirk Ferentz has won 11 of the past 15 against the Cyclones. Cade McNamara, although he's had his ups and downs, he transferred from Michigan after his injury. He's still, I think, the better quarterback. So I'm going to go with Iowa. I don't think there'll be a lot of points scored, which plays to Iowa's strength.
I'm actually going to disagree. This is going to be a dogfight. However, it's a new year for the Hawkeyes. And I think the Hawkeyes offense is actually somewhat decent this year. I think the first half will be pretty close and low scoring, but then give the Hawkeyes some halftime adjustments. And I think they win this game by 18 points.
I'm going to have a hot take here. This game is only going to have field goals, and I'm going to go Iowa State winning 9-6.
Wow.
Yes.
What a
What a
prediction.
Iowa's offense will look worse than it ever has. Iowa State will just take advantage with the kicking game and win 9-6.
I like it. You got to diversify the picks every once in a while. I'm going to go Iowa, though. Their offense is bad. Cade McNamara was throwing some passes that against an actual decent team would have probably picked it off. I think this game is going to be low scoring, probably a field goal fest, defensive slugfest. Iowa has a better defense. I'm going to go Iowa. It's also at Iowa. Iowa State, I really think, just doesn't have a chance. And Matt Campbell probably needs to look for a new job or not going to make it much longer at Iowa State in Ames. So, There you go. Ooh, first big matchup of the week. Colorado, Nebraska. Good old. Is it a 3:00 kickoff today? Because I think Texas and Michigan are
I think it's at 7:30.
Night game in Nebraska. So, James.
Well, I already know your opinion, Hunter. You hate Colorado. I don't really respect it, but I understand it. I think both teams have the same at stake for this week. Whoever wins will probably go to a pretty nice bowl game, have a decent season. I think Nebraska's little sellout record is a bunch of it's just bogus. Like, they're donors, they just buy up all the extra seats. But put that aside, I think they will have really good home field advantage, it being a night game. Raiola looked pretty good last week, obviously being a true freshman, playing against UTEP, throwing for 70% with almost 240 yards. He looked good. I also think Colorado showed a lot of tenacity and grit, coming from behind at points against arguably the best FCS school in the nation in North Dakota State. They've produced some dogs like Carson Wentz and whoever the third string for the Cowboys is, which is really sad. I don't know that because I'm a Cowboys
Trey
fan.
Lance.
He sucks. Yeah, Trey Lance needs to be off the team. I think Travis Hunter can make a real case for Heisman. I mean, we saw how many snaps he played last week. I think I'll take Nebraska just purely because Colorado's O-line sucks and they're at home.
I disagree with James. I think this game's going to be a shootout. I think Colorado is not a good defense team still. They got better, but they're still not great. Dylan Raiola, the former 5-star, I think that he showed that he's a very solid quarterback. The biggest thing for me why I'm picking Colorado is I think Love Abraham Shadur is a top 10, maybe top 5 quarterback in college football, and because of that, I think I just trust him more than Dylan Raiola at this point. So I expect Colorado to win in a shootout.
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree with Grant here. I think if Colorado can get to Raiola just a little bit and force him out of the pocket, which he really didn't have to do much last week, I think that could cause him some problems. Shadur is very composed, and I think that even in the Nebraska environment, he'll be perfectly fine throwing to Travis Hunter, who played 1 million snaps. I'm going to go Colorado. I think it's going to be, like Grant said, a shootout. But I think the Buffs take this one.
I'm going to go with Nebraska.
Fake out.
The crowd is going to be absolutely insane tonight. Nebraska fans are fiending for a big win, and I think they're going to go crazy tonight and take advantage of that. And Colorado will not respond well. And if Colorado scores and they celebrate, Nebraska fans will let them hear it. Dylan Raiola will make sure that they get this victory, and Nebraska will win.
I like the thought process there from Dylan. I'm going to go Nebraska as well. Home field advantage, like I said earlier, it's probably the biggest aspect of this game. Nebraska is one of the toughest places to play. You can say whatever you want. It's a tough place to play. Y'all are also jaded by Colorado's shenanigans over here, Grant and Chube. Shadur is not a top 5 quarterback in college
crazy.
football. I'm sorry. He's not.
You top 10?
He's top 10. I'm not going to give him top 5. Listen, I think that this.
Who do you put ahead of him? Graham Mertz?
No.
God, no.
No. Listen, Colorado is not going to survive this game. I think that Colorado is going to give them a good shot. I think that they're going to look good, and it's going to give people hope. Oh, my gosh, Colorado, Little Wayne. Okay, listen, I don't care. Nebraska is the better team. Dylan Raiola is going to show why he is Patrick Mahomes Jr. today. And Nebraska gets a huge win. Coach Prime goes into the press conference. He's not going to talk to CBS. He's not going to talk to Fox. He's not going to talk to NBC. He's going to talk to that one dude that he's brought with him from Jackson State, and that's who he's going to talk to the entire time. Listen, I do not like Colorado. I stand on this every week. I hope Colorado's on here every week so I can hate on them every single week. Go Big Red.
Time out.
That's why you're in last, Hunter.
I'm taking back my pick. Give me Colorado. You disrespected Jackson State. You disrespected my hometown. This one is purely an emotional pick. Give me Colorado. Shedeur Sanders will be a top 10 pick this upcoming draft. Give me Colorado.
He'll be
Hot
a
take.
because his last name. What?
Oh,
No,
Scooters.
his last name. What?
Shador and Travis Hunter go 1-2.
Oh
No,
my God.
heck no, heck no. No, that's abysmal take. Jeez
Just
Louise.
wait
All
till
right.
Colorado wins the championship, dude.
Yeah, in NCAA football.
Exactly.
Georgia Tech, Syracuse up next. It's a pretty interesting matchup here. Yep, there we go. James, who you got?
First off, I didn't know Kyle McCord was throwing the football like that. 399 attempts? Dude's a dog.
Don't know how he has a UCL, but he's still here.
Yeah. But honestly, he is one of the reasons why I was kind of on the fence about this game. He's a very experienced quarterback. I think he gets a lot of hate because he couldn't beat Michigan while he was at Ohio State. And Ryan Day would just toss him under the bus left and right. He would never take the blame for himself. Syracuse is at home. I don't think they have great home field advantage. They're one of the few teams in college football with a dome. I don't think it really will affect them that much. They let up 255 yards of rushing last week against an Ohio team out of the MAC conference. I think Georgia Tech has a good rushing attack. Their running backs currently averaging 84.5 yards per game and 1.5 touchdowns. They also have a veteran quarterback who comes from an SEC environment, transferring from Texas A&M, Haynes King. He's been able to, dice up defenses, and he picked up that big win against FSU. I think, this environment will be similar to that one in Ireland, non-existent. But yeah, give me the Yellow Jackets.
I still don't know who I'm going to pick. I think this game's going to be really close. I think this could be, one of the games of the week. I think that what I saw from Haynes King in Ireland was great against Florida State. Although Florida State's going downhill right now, he still looked really good. Kyle McCord, he looked really good for Syracuse after having a weird year at Ohio State. I'm gonna go with Haynes King. I think he's the better quarterback. I think the system fits him better there. Syracuse likes to run it a lot now, so I'll go with the Yellow Jackets.
I'm really torn. I'll be honest. In my notes, I had Georgia Tech, but I really don't know. I'm still gonna stick with my gut and go Georgia Tech. Sorry, Hunter, your brother just texted me. I'm gonna go Georgia Tech, and I think that, like James said, the Syracuse offense, or not offense, the environment, it's just not there. I don't think it's going to play much like a home. I mean, it will play like a home game, but not much of a home field advantage. Tech looks good. I'm just going to go Tech.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with Georgia Tech. I feel like their run game is going to slow down the game and be too much for Syracuse because Syracuse defense did not look good against Ohio last week. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Georgia Tech.
I'm going to go with the Cuse. Listen, Kyle McCord played great last week. Georgia Tech, some are saying they're on a Cinderella run. Well, the clock strikes midnight today, okay? And listen, the Cinderella run is over. Haynes King plays abysmal in the Kimmy Dome. Do not disrespect it. One of the greatest environments of college football. Don't you dare.
That's outlandish.
Don't you dare ever disrespect.
This is why you went 4-7.
No, it's
I respect
not.
it, Hunter. I respect
because
it.
the teams did not play the way I wanted them to. Listen, Georgia Tech's already played 2 games, but they played against a Florida State team that, let's be honest, wasn't very good. They have talent, but they weren't very good. They also played – who they played last week?
Georgia State.
Georgia State. Listen,
Southern.
Yeah,
Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern.
Oh, I thought
No,
it was
it was Georgia State because Georgia Southern played Kennesaw State last week.
You're right.
Look at
You're
that.
right.
Look at
Sorry,
that.
James.
That's on me.
Either way, Georgia Tech hasn't really played anybody yet. I think Syracuse gives them a tough environment. I think Syracuse's defense is much better than a lot of people think they are. And I think that Kyle McCord proves why he should have been the guy at Ohio State, even though Ryan Day is an idiot and did not start him. So, there you go. Tennessee versus NC State night game, neutral site game. Also, the Duke Mayo's Classic. James.
This very easily, could have been game of the week. Tennessee looked unbeatable last week. I mean, Nico is the real deal. Several people saying that he could be a Heisman candidate as early as this year. Dylan Sampson is a true force on the ground. I really don't know how NC State can stop both the passing and the rushing that Tennessee has. I really do hope that Squirrel White, though, I hope he gets some more targets. He only had 2 catches for 22 yards. Having a name like that, I expect him to get 100 yards every week. NC State came out extremely slow last week, and I don't think they can afford to do that this week. They will get punched in the mouth and then curb stomped by Tennessee. And also, I think this truly is a neutral site game. It's in South Carolina. It's only like 3.5, 4 hours from Knoxville. And NC State fans they'll drive down too. I think both teams have good alumni bases in the South Carolina area. So I think it will be pretty even when it comes to that home field advantage. But I think Tennessee's overall the better team, and that 9.5-point spread speaks for itself.
Yeah, I agree, James. I look at this similar to the Pitt game a couple years ago for Tennessee. It's another ACC opponent. I think NC State wants this to be a low-scoring game, even though they do have a solid veteran transfer in Grayson McCall. The biggest thing for NC State that's going for them is they didn't have their middle linebacker week 1, and I think that's going to, it could hurt Tennessee a little bit. The only way I see NC State winning this game is if they can get like 2 quick 3-and-outs to where their defense isn't tired. If that does not happen, I think Tennessee wins very easily, 2 scores, 3 scores, something around that range. I think the Nico Heisman campaign continues after this week, so I'll go Tennessee.
I think there's 2 things that either happen in this game. Tennessee wins the game by 30, or it's a really close shootout and NC State wins. I'm going to go with Tennessee just because, like it says down there, NC State didn't have their starting linebacker. However, that does not help how slow their offense was. And you can't start out slow against a team like Tennessee, who they play. I think it was Western Kentucky. So I believe it was Western Kentucky.
Western
Kind of
Carolina.
mounts.
Either way, they started out super slow, and they cannot afford to do that because they will get punched in the mouth, and they won't be able to recover just because of how good the Tennessee defensive line is. That was something that they tried to do in week 1, was run the football, and they did it pretty well. But I don't think they're going to have that much success against the Tennessee defensive line.
This is NC State's Super Bowl. Their Twitter's going crazy. So I feel like this will be a close first half, very competitive, maybe a little low scoring. There's going to be points, but I won't expect it to be a shootout until the second half where Tennessee opens the door and jumps on them in the second half. I will expect Tennessee to cover. I think they're going to win by 14 points, 2 touchdowns. And yeah, Tennessee will win this game, but it'll be close to start out.
Yeah, I'm going on the same lines as Dylan here. This game is going to be a blowout. The reason why I'm picking Tennessee here is the defensive line, James Pierce. He didn't really play much last week. They kind of just kept him kind of locked up, really. Not that he didn't want to play. I think that they were kind of saving him for a better opponent, saving him for this game probably. I think he's going to have a great day today. I think that he's going to feast with this offensive line. Grayson McCall didn't play. He played great, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. The 1 interception, 65 passing precision. It's not bad. But this Tennessee defense is a lot better than a lot of people think they are. And plus, I think that another thing is that the offense for Tennessee, they say they go fast. They didn't go very fast last year just because the offense, it was slow. It showed the team was not moving as quick as they were. And it hurt us really in kind of the department of we can move the ball wherever we want to like they were in 2022. I think that they get back to that. I think this is a good test for Nico, good early season test. This could be a trap game for him. But I do think that Tennessee gets the big win in the Queen City in Charlotte.
I don't even know where to start. The only bright side for South Carolina at this point, after that abysmal game, was their quarterback. He has the name Rocket. He has a big build. He honestly could play tight end if he wanted to. And he's rocking the right specs. Kind of reminds me of prime Cam Newton, the way he can run the ball. Wait, I'm sorry. That's not Rocket. He's got a different name. But he's a lit dude. Don't get me wrong. He has really good run defense last week, which I think will show. I mean, they were playing a Southern Miss team that's been decent in the past, having Frank Gore Jr., who just went off to the NFL. So I think if Kentucky can really stop South Carolina's run, because that was really their only bright spot in a close win last week, I think Kentucky will easily win this. Obviously, their fans are going to show out. It's a rivalry game. It's an SEC game. And Kentucky will get a big win for a questionable SEC season.
I agree with James. Rocket Sanders, the transfer from Arkansas, he was projected to be one of the best running backs last year in the SEC. But Kentucky in week 1 allowed 0.4 yards per rush attempt. I do think this game will be close. I'm not high on Brock Vandagriff. I'm not very high on the Norris Sellers either. But I do think since Kentucky has the home field advantage, I think they'll come out with the win.
I don't want to pick Kentucky, but I think I have to. South Carolina is just not very good. And Kentucky's run defense was pretty good. Kind of pretty much like Grant said, their home field advantage will kind of carry them to a pretty close win, I feel. So I'm going to go Kentucky.
This game is gross. 2 mid SEC teams, 2 teams I really do not like, but South Carolina looked very, very bad last week against Old Dominion. I was rooting hard for Old Dominion to win, but they didn't pull it out. But I'm going to go with Kentucky. I feel like they look like the better team, but yeah, this game is pretty nasty.
Yeah, this is going to be an absolute snooze fest for that 3:30 slot on ABC, by the way. This game's on ABC. I don't know how the heck that – geez Louise. Both teams were not good last week. Southern Miss, Kentucky, they didn't even finish the game just because of the storm. Old Dominion almost beat South Carolina. They honestly should have beat South Carolina if it wasn't for a red zone turnover with Old Dominion. Here's my thing about South Carolina. They lost their special teams coordinator who did all the trick plays and stuff, really played a big part of that Beamer ball style that they play. And it showed last week because, you expect them to maybe throw a fake punt, maybe, do a little fake PAT. There was none of that last week. It was actually – I was shocked by that. That's why I'm going to go with Kentucky today. There isn't really a shock factor in this South Carolina team. Maybe they were just saving it for this week. But there's not a really big shock factor. Brock Vandagriff also did not look good. I'm just going to be real. He completed easy passes. Allowed 0.4 yards per rush in week 1. Yeah, that's good. It's Southern Miss. Not hating on Southern Miss, but you're playing a much better running back this week. I think Kentucky's defense is not as good as people say they are. I do love going on the Kentucky message boards, the KSR radio, Kentucky Sports Radio. They got that one dude on there who's like, I believe Kentucky could go 9-3 this year and go to the playoffs. Dog, no one's going 9-3 and making the playoffs this year. I'm going to be real here. I see that dude on my Twitter every morning. I'm like, please just go away. They asked him what he sets his thermostat to in his house. It was like 64 degrees. Jeez Louise, man. Jeez Louise. My man has the hottest body system in all time if it's 64 degrees. And he was like, sometimes it's 60 at night. Dog, you're going to die of hypothermia. Listen, I don't like Kentucky. I don't like South Carolina. I hate both these teams equally. I'm going to go Kentucky, though, just because it's at Kentucky, like Giro said, Kroger Field, 3:30 kickoff. People will be excited. I'm not going to say go Big Blue, but go Kentucky. Arkansas, Oklahoma State. Is this a neutral site? I feel like this is a neutral site game.
It's not. It's at Oklahoma State.
Okay, well, James, go ahead. Take it away then.
Looking for my notes right now. Here it is. Yeah, so I thought Ollie Gordon was going to be out this week because I saw an Arkansas account say that he was out with chlamydia. That's not true. He's actually playing. So he's going to be here, which sucks for Arkansas fans. I don't really know what to think about Arkansas. I mean, it looks like really good stats, but remember they were playing Pine Bluff at home on a Thursday night, so it's really tough to tell. Whereas Oklahoma State played the second best FCS team, some people would say the best, in South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits. They also have Ollie Gordon playing. He's not out. Breaking news. So yeah, Gordon's probably just going to run it down Arkansas's throat. They also have a much more stable coach under Gundy. And yeah, I mean, they're at home, 10-point spread. I really don't see how Oklahoma State can lose this one.
Ollie Gordon beat the chlamydia acquisitions. Yes.
I agree with James. I'm very high on Oklahoma State. I have them winning the Big 12. The biggest thing for me is their top 5 in returning production. Ollie Gordon's probably the best running back in college football. Their O-line has the most combined starts with like upwards of 90, I think. And because of that, they can just run it on Arkansas all day long. And I think this is the beginning of the downfall for Sam Pittman in this year. So I'll go Oklahoma State.
Yeah, in my notes here, it says for Oklahoma State, feed Ollie Gordon. And then in my notes for Arkansas, it says stop Ollie Gordon. I'm gonna go Arkansas. I think they so this is my upset of the week here. I'm gonna go Arkansas. I have full confidence with the way they played last week that I think Arkansas will win this football game.
I think this game will be an absolute shootout going in Oklahoma State's favor. I don't think Arkansas has enough weapons to keep up with Oklahoma State's production. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma State winning this 52-38 in a crazy game.
Wow. Okay, that's 52-38. Okay. I'm going to go Oklahoma State here, along with Chube's ideology of feed Ollie Gordon. I think Ollie Gordon's just going to absolutely destroy this Arkansas defense. I don't know why Chube is going with Arkansas, but I did say in my notes that this game for Oklahoma State is their trap game. This could easily be a trap game. I think Arkansas is a very underrated team. Sam Pittman probably won't survive the season just because the record won't reflect how good this team could be. Yes, they put up 70 points last week on someone. That goes to tell you how much that game was very influential. Ollie Gordon, I think, makes a candidacy for the Heisman today, honestly. I think that he has that big of a game. It's an SEC opponent. It's at Oklahoma State, too, which is a very underrated game in Belgium. So, yeah, I'm going to go Oklahoma State here. And then our game of the week, Texas, Michigan at the Big House. You really can't get better than this. It is a 12 o'clock kickoff, though. Thank you, Big Noon Kickoff. James.
Yeah, the Big Noon Kickoff is going to kill Michigan with their home field advantage. The fans will still come out. It's a maize-out game, even though they're not wearing their all-maize uniforms, which I think is stupid. I was really shocked week one when Michigan picked Davis Warren to be their starting quarterback and not Alex Orji. I thought Orji had won that spot last year when he would come in as a backup. But one of the most telling things is, a new coach. I thought Sherrone Moore did wonderful last year, obviously helping them win the national championship. But the production, the lack of it coming back really Texas has a lot of production coming back. They also got Isaiah Bond out of the portal from Bama. He was the one that caught that pass to beat Auburn last year in the Iron Bowl. And so, yeah, with just so many new guys, I think you'll still be able to stop, Quinn Ewers a couple times. But I really think Ewers and Texas will obliterate the spread. This is the first time Michigan has been an underdog at home since they last beat Ohio State in 2021. A lot of big names are coming out for this game. Derek Jeter, Michael Phelps, Matthew McConaughey, Brady, Saban, and much more. It's a big game, but I really think Texas will get a defining win for their season before they enter SEC play against my Mississippi State Bulldogs in Week 5.
I agree with James. I think Sherrone Moore will end up being a very solid coach in the Big Ten. I just think that you're sixth to last in returning production. That's awful. Davis Warren, they looked okay. I mean, the score's a little misdirecting because that's how Michigan plays. They're not going to ever blow a team out, especially with this new offense where they're going to run it a lot. I honestly think this spread of Texas -7 is a little disrespectful to Texas. I see them winning by double digits pretty easily. I think Quinn Ewers is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. They did have to replace some weapons last year with Xavier Worthy and A.D. Mitchell, but they did replace them going to the portal with Ryan Wingo and Isaiah Bond. I think that Texas wins this game easily.
Michigan's defense keeps them in this football game. I actually think this is going to be a very close game. And I'm really torn on who to pick, to be honest. The only thing that's keeping me from for sure picking Michigan is their quarterback play. It's just so wishy-washy, you know. I'm still gonna just like that. I'm still gonna pick Michigan. I think Michigan's defense keeps them in the football game to a point where Quinn Ewers is gonna have to step up. And I mean he's done that in the past. I mean he beat Alabama. I don't think he's an incompetent quarterback playing in a big environment by any means. I just think that the Michigan defense may be a little too much for him.
Yeah, going off what Aiden said, I feel like Michigan's defense will also keep them in this game. And I don't know if yours has that chemistry with those transfer wide receivers yet, so that'll be fun to see. I also think the environment yours is going to go into will be hard. Sure, he's been in plenty of environments that he's won in, like Alabama, but I feel like Michigan's defense will keep him in this game. And then in the second half, Orji will probably, I feel like, will come in as the quarterback. He's going to step up, and I got Michigan winning by a field goal on the last second, 20-17.
Wow. Okay. Well, I hate picking them. Texas University will win this game. Michigan did not look good enough week 1. I'm going to be honest. It's at the Big House. I think that will be a big factor in this game, but it's also a 12 o'clock kickoff, and I hate that for them. I honestly do. I wish this was a night game. If this was a night game, I'm taking Michigan. Since it's a 12 o'clock kickoff, the fans got to wake up. They got to get going. I think kind of what I don't know who said. I honestly forgot. But the chemistry between the wide receivers, I think it was Dylan. The chemistry between the wide receivers with Quinn Ewers did not show last week. Quinn Ewers kind of looked a little not shaken up, but a little like the trust wasn't there yet. And that builds off a week-by-week basis. But you got to have that, especially entering this environment. Another interesting fact, Shannon Moore is not actually under contract. He's actually playing in this game. I didn't say his name right. He's actually not under contract. Coach Moore, I'll call him that. There we go. He's actually not under contract in this game. He's playing for free. They haven't figured out his contract at Michigan, of course, replacing Harbaugh. I think Quinn Ewers has a day, though. What
He said those reports are true. He is under contract.
Okay, sorry. It's like the chlamydia thing with Ollie Gordon.
Yeah, all right.
Quinn Ewers has a big day, though. I do think that losing what's his name to a torn ACL is also a big factor for Texas. Quinn Ewers has a day, though. There we go. Michigan loses close. Texas wins. There we go. That's week 2. Do not bet unless you're of age. Do not listen to our betting advice unless you're of age and you really want to trust some high schoolers with their betting advice. We didn't get too much into betting. We do not bet here at the Splat Sports Network. Yet. You do not bet. Yep, there you go, James. Splat Pick should be back this week. I think they filmed an episode last night. Oh, never mind. They did not film an episode last night. Don't know what happened there. All right. The podcast is back. Dylan, thank you. The recap show will also be posted today, hopefully. Thank you, Dylan, for joining us. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back next week, week 3. Some good games there. Shadur, probably not going to have a good day today. I hope he doesn't. Jesus loves you. Peace out.